God bless you all, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easier and easier. So today we've arranged for the ladies to be a little bit more towards the middle so that you can see the screen, because seeing the screen is really important, and I don't want you to have to bend from the side, bend your head. And also, yeah, come to the front even, like, let's take over the place. Also, feel free to take pictures. I have some slides that I think, inshallah, maybe you'll want to take pictures of. So you over on this side can see I'm in your way, because if you come here, because I feel I'm blocking the screen. So this is also a tip. In life, be willing to put yourself out there and move closer where you can be in the front of a classroom, be where you can see the screen. There's no shyness when it comes to learning, and no shyness when it comes to taking notes when you want to learn something. As well, no shyness when it comes to asking questions. So, alhamdulillah, I'm very pleased that the Atlanta community really wanted these workshops. And I was saying, it's the month of Muharram. We want to, definitely stay with the Azadari. But this is also the month where our hearts soften. These tears that we shed for Karbala, what they do is they soften our heart. This is a field here. This is a planting. This is the planting season. And this is the soil, the heart. So as we are crying, inshallah, it's softening. It's softening. And then all sorts of messages can enter it, inshallah. And there will be moments of epiphany. Moments when you'll feel like, I want to be a better person. Moments when you're like, that's it, I'm quitting what I used to do and I'm a new me. And in that time, if we're also understanding psychological things, then we, inshallah, can understand how we function, why we do what we do, and how to be better people, knowing how the human mind works. So this one, even though we've called it about the family, it's about communication in general, It's about communication in general. And alhamdulillah, Islam is a way of life. It's not just a set of rules and regulations. We confuse ourselves and think it's all about praying and fasting and how many rak'ah and how many times. And it is all that, but it is the way. It's a means to get somewhere, and the destination is to be better human beings. Remember that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that I have been brought to improve your conduct. I have come to improve your manners. So when we learn about communication, when we learn about conflict, when we learn about conflict resolution, anger management, we are improving our manners. And Islam is that religion that cautions us. Don't hurt a mu'min. Don't yell at someone. Don't do it in public. Use beautiful language. Use gentle tone. And so this is a religion, and it's in the Holy Quran about not speaking harshly. Even the Holy Prophet ﷺ was blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, it is by the grace of your Lord that you do not speak harshly with them. Otherwise, they would have never come to your faith. Allah makes it possible that we can keep our cool and we can speak beautifully. So this is definitely from the Ahlul Bayt and from the Holy Quran. And Mawla Ali alayhi salam has talked at length about how to speak, when to speak, what to say, what not to say, how to say it. Psychology is coming right now, teaching us all this stuff. But the Ahlul Bayt 1400 years ago was already on top of this. These things about it being a magic word. When you say please and thank you and sorry, it's truly a magic word. When someone says thank you, it truly makes everything okay, all that work that you did. When someone says I am sorry, it releases all that pain in your heart. There is a barakah. And there's a beautiful letter that Imam Ali alayhi salam wrote to his sons, particularly, and he said letter to my son, but we're all Mawla's children. Letter number 33 in some Nahj al-Balaghas, otherwise it's number 35 often. And in that letter, Imam talks about communication deeply. But what I love, one of the, by the way, many of the famous sayings of Mullah Ali are from that letter. For example, well, there's even the letter to Malik Ashtar. Many of the beautiful sayings of Imam Ali come from that letter. You know that famous one where he says a person is either your brother in faith or your brother in humanity, is from the letter to Malik Ashtar. The one from this one that I really loved, and it touches my heart because it really explains how communication works. Mullah says, "Oh my dear son, do not let someone dictate how the conversation will go. Do not let them set the tone." You know what happens when someone comes and starts yelling at you? Or they immediately judge you. "Oh, what are you wearing?" Or, "Oh, you're here today on time." All these things that immediately triggers, we call them. What they've done is they've set the stone, that set the stage. This is going to be a fight. Sometimes they say, "I didn't mean it. Come on, you took it as a fight." That's another part of communication that we need to really work on, because we are the ones who overthink and we're oversensitive. And unfortunately, we blame our youth about this. They're so, we've got a chip on their shoulder. Badu kharab lagi jaiche. Like, "Oh my God, habe jase, she'll cry, drama queen." The thing is, though, when you really look at it carefully, we were these drama queens when we were 16. And now we are that drama queen when we are a mom of 35 or a father who used to throw things and everything as a youth and walks out and bangs the door and walks out. Was that young man who used to do that. Wasn't curbed. No one stopped them, or no one could get to stop them. No one had that. No one can stop us. But we can stop ourselves. And Allah can help us. So let us today make a conscious decision that we're not going to let someone decide that today this is going to ruin my day. This is going to ruin this conversation. You set the tone, Imam says, of gentle, kind, loving words. And this golden saying, "Do unto others as you would have them done unto you," is in that letter of Imam Ali, where he says, "Oh my child, treat others as you would like to be treated." So these are things, and in a family, everything comes into play. So that's why we've called it family, because the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam are the family of the Prophet. They have given us gems. The very fact that the Kafilah of the Ahlul Bayt was built of the Ahlul Bayt. And those who came as companions were like family. Such a great example in Karbala, that the parents who brought their kids, everyone who was there was part of the family of the Prophet. And those who joined them, joined the family of the Prophet, became like their family. Brothers and sisters didn't fight in Karbala or anywhere in Medina. They stood up for each other. They cried for each other. Sugra and Ali Akbar are the teenagers in our home who are saying, "I'm not going to be in the same car as my brother. I don't want to go on a vacation if she's coming." We are at each other's throats when we are the ones who have heard time and again about how the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam treated each other with love and kindness. So today, a conscious decision that we're going to love each other and we're going to speak sweetly and softly, because we are in closed doors. The pandemic was the hardest time because suddenly we had to live with these people that we were avoiding every day. We had to eat with each other. We were the only people that we were allowed to meet. People who had dysfunctional families ended up in a divorce, because now you're suddenly forced to eat together, play together. But it should be a fortress of strength and peace. Home is our sanctuary. But if we let someone make it a place of jagra, of bullying, of hatred, we've allowed that person a little bit too much power. But there's ways of bringing peace without telling that person to quit. We'll never be able to control the other person. Can't say, stop shouting, stop being negative, stop, stop, stop. Nothing works like that. But we can definitely control our reaction to those triggers. So life is full of conflict, as Mawla Ali alayhi salam says. You are a test for me and I'm a test for you. We are each other's test. Sometimes having a difficult son or a husband who is, difficult, or a wife who is, very negative and very explosive is our opportunity to bring up all those beautiful theories we had been taught and bring life to it. इस चीज को रंग लाना है हमें जो हमने सीखा है. We know better. A lot of us who are psychologists and counselors and the ones who have the toughest homes, we can't practice what we preach. But if everyone's on board and says, I want to. So it's normal to have complaints. It's normal to have partners who are difficult. Even the Holy Prophet's life, if you look at it, his uncle was the troublemaker. There's so many people, some of the wives. There was a difficult atmosphere. Allah tests everybody. And the problem starts not when there's a conflict. The problem starts when we start complaining, when we criticize, when we use that conflict as an opportunity to start a war. And in this era, we're actually seeing a war. When someone bombs you, then you're going to throw a bigger bomb because you're going to show that I'm strong too. I'm going to throw 10. But that person who restrains for a week, 2 weeks, you're like, what happened? Either they're planning something or they really let it go by. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, when someone throws an arrow at you, duck so that it goes over your head. It's the Matrix. Just keep avoiding. This person is triggering you. And it's not their fault. Shaitan is using this person to create problems in you. You're trying to serve Allah. You're trying to be a volunteer at the mosque. All you're doing is trying to bring up your kids right. But they become a source of conflict. So when an attack on our character, global statements like you are so this and that, these are the triggers. And if we could stop talking that way. There is a way to complain. So before you speak, think. Number 1, is it true? Number 2, is it helpful if I say this? Honestly, many times it's like, why did I even ask? Why did I even say? I was being concerned when I asked, where's your son these days? But a part of you knew that the son has now Khuda na khasta run out of home, away from home or something, triggering a very tender spot in someone. Is it necessary? Why did I go there? I was just checking if it's true that there's no need. We're not investigative journalists here. It's not our job. So number 1, if someone says, I thought you said this about me, you never checked if it's true. No, I'm going to ask him. Confrontation. I'll confront. Do we really need to confront everything? Let it go. Because many of the times, massive arguments, you're like, why did I even bring it up? Why? Because I wanted that person to validate me. I wanted that person to say, sorry, thank you, please. Yeah, you're right. I should have done this. I shouldn't have done this. I was wrong. That was bad what I did to you. I hurt you. I admit I hurt you. Hello. Do you need this person who's killed you to say, yeah, I killed you? They're not. And if they do, why should that give you peace? The person who throws a bomb at you, you're expecting them to say they were wrong? When they threw it, they thought they were doing the right thing. It takes a huge, humble person to be able to say, I was wrong. I misunderstood. So before confronting, first of all, say, why am I using this word confront? That means that's a fight right there. And ask yourself, is it even true? Is it going to help? Is it going to help? Sometimes, Yeah, you think, well, if I find out they didn't really say this, I'll feel better. It's going to cause a bigger war. Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? So, how big is my problem? We are the generation of overthinkers. My life is misery. My parents are the most evil people, astaghfirullah, on earth. My jamaat is terrible. My school sucks. Everything is like this general global statement. And then if someone asks you a few questions, you're like, yeah, but they are. Yeah, okay, yeah, they're nice. Yeah, okay, yeah, they do this. Oh, yeah, I am. And next thing you know, you're humbled because you said they were all bad. So think about it. When you say these things, you are creating a bigger problem and making it an emergency. Is it emergency? I need help immediately. I'm hurt and I'm in danger. Number 2, is it just a huge problem? I feel angry. Number 3, is it a medium problem? Something's bothering me. I just need to talk to someone. Number, like 4, what is it? Small problem. Number 5 is a tiny problem. I could really fix this myself. We are the people, I want to kill myself. Why? Because I'm late. I want to kill myself because my mom yelled at me today. This is not to undermine those who are, clinically depressed or suicidal. But this thing, I should kill myself. I'll divorce you. I'll never speak to you again. These things don't deserve a moment on our lips because they create a huge problem to ourselves. We tell ourselves, I'm in crisis. When you realize the next day after you've thrown a huge fit, and if someone says, why were you screaming? Can't remember. I guess it wasn't that huge a deal, eh? If I can't remember why I was screaming the place down. And you wanted to kill yourself? Well, today I want to live. But that moment, yeah, I felt helpless. But I really didn't mean I was going to kill myself. Don't use these words. Because also, you say it in school, you say it somewhere, people are going to report you, you're going to be taken in a straitjacket. Because they are liable, school officials and whatever, that if you complain about your parents and your brother who's a pain in the neck or whatever, they're going to bring the Children's Aid Society to your home. It's happened to so many families. You thought you were going to a counselor to just say, I feel so stuck at home. But that teacher thinking they're going to help you is now going to tell somebody big time that you are in trouble. And that family, you could be the biggest problem causer and you'll be so sorry. So think about who you're talking to. And these big words like, I feel like killing myself, are not true. You know it and I know it. So all of us feel like ending it at some point, yes? But it doesn't mean that that's what we really felt like doing. A lot of people who take a leap, they actually say as soon as they jump, they were like, I don't want to do it anymore. It's an immediate response of regret. And as people come in, do guide them that they can easily sit on this side because we want everyone to be able to see the screen. So anger scale, there's anger and then there's a coping skill with it. And so everyone who's on this side, if you come on this side, because I feel that I'm blocking and then you don't know what I'm talking about, I miss you. So come on that side. Alhamdulillah, we have lots of space. So look at us, the calm person at the bottom, the Zen, and the one at the top was enraged and explosive and furious. We need to journal about this. We need to find out what we do. Astaghfirullah, the best of us scream like there is no tomorrow. We bring the house down. We make a federal case. We yell, stomp, argue, refuse, temper tantrums, shutting down, throwing things, destructive. A lot of us are stuck here at this point. We are stuck in our lives. You do it now at the age of 16, you're going to do it forever. It's a learned behavior. It's a learned coping skill. And you learn that if you scream and shout, people listen and they say, okay, take it. Just take it. Okay. Just don't shout. Okay, don't cry. And then what happens, you become that entitled person. The person who can only shout to be heard. Who doesn't use words, who uses actions. They shut down. They're passive aggressive. These become lifelong incorrect coping mechanisms. This is why drugs and alcohol is not the right way to fix a problem, because it fixes it for 5 minutes, and then afterwards you feel worse. And when you're yourself, you don't know how to fix those problems anymore, because you could only do it when you're drunk. You can only do it when you can only be calm if you hear music. You can only be calm if you close your door and avoid people and conflict. So these coping mechanisms are actually, what can you do about it? You can count. I mean, our Islam is full of this, about drinking a glass of water or sitting on the floor, or, just doing wudu. There's levels, talking to yourself, thinking of a peaceful place, going to a happy place. But the biggest one, of course, is not doing, first of all those actions of yelling and screaming, because they are conversation stoppers. It makes people leave the room. It makes people say, I can't talk to you if you're going to be rude. I can't talk to you if you're going to cry. A lot of us, we're emotional creatures. We cry. It's hard to not cry for us. And people think we're manipulating them with our tears. But these tears, they just come. What can we do? But often, it's important to say to yourself, I have to not cry. But also to tell the other person, if I'm crying, I still want to talk. If these tears are falling, it just shows that I'm in pain, that's all. I don't want us to stop talking or for you to fix it just because I'm crying. It's a natural reaction that my body does. Because that way people know that, okay, you still want to keep talking, but they're so worried about us crying that they don't want to talk anymore. So angry, hot, mad, we're using all these stomping things. There are ways you can squeeze a ball, you can get a glass of water, you can take a shower, you can meditate. You can also go for a walk. You can also write down your feelings, but make sure nobody ever reads that diary. It's the worst thing when a person finds that you were actually, hating them, that this is how you felt about me. So many movies and sitcoms about somebody finding their journal. And nowadays, be careful what you put on a chat with a friend. People send screenshots. They forward our entire messages. It's not worth it to vent to certain people, or in a massive social media where, my parents are terrible and all that, and you're posting it, right? So sighing loudly, growling, eye rolling, glaring, raising our voice, all of these are killers. So we have to find ourselves, sometimes hugging a certain person helps. Calling them energy hugs, just saying, can you just hug me? And studies show a hug that lasts more than 3 seconds immediately starts to become the most powerful thing. Sometimes hugging the very person who was upsetting us and just saying, I need a hug. Even if they gave you one, the hardest, difficult day. But you hug this person, and what happens is that they feel your warmth, you feel their warmth, and it's important to hug our parents. It's important to hug our coworkers, our siblings, coworkers. But, sometimes it's like so normal nowadays. People hug each other, people shake hands. It's important, of course, with the same gender. So all these things are there, but important to keep listening. Because when we are listening, our whole body, like right now, alhamdulillah, I have eye contact with all of you. You're not moving. Very little movements I'm seeing here. Subhanallah, riveted. But if one person pulls out their cell phone right now, I would feel hurt, right? I would feel like you are not paying attention to me. So often we're talking to somebody and we're actually checking something. We're like, okay, but this is according to what you said. I just want to, translate this word. But what happened is the eye contact went, and it looks like you're checking your WhatsApp, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I'm gonna just clean this kitchen, and you keep talking. Or I'm going to be scrubbing the floor. I'm going to actually multitask. I'm going to listen to the radio. There's no such thing anymore. I'm going to listen to the, whatever, Netflix, whatever, watch everything. At the same time, also study, also say, yeah, mom, what is it? Yeah, husband, what is it? No. When people want your undivided attention, it means I care about you so much, I'm going to just put this away totally. I'm going to put it face down. I'm all yours. And I'll look into your eyes and I'll give you those 2 seconds. It often is just 2 seconds. Like, Mom, listen, I'm about to say something. But of course, also, parents are complaining. You send a text to your kids and they don't reply. Right? They've taken away the read part of you don't even know if they've seen it. And they say, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, the acknowledgement. I hear you. I read your text. We will, inshallah, talk about this. Yes, I've seen it. Okay, I will do it. This is sometimes enough to stop a massive fight from happening. Give people undivided attention. Eyes on the speaker. Mouth is quiet. Both ears are listening. And don't fidget. Because we know those people who are ADHD especially, now everybody's like, we've put labels on everybody. You are OCD, you are, oppositional defiant, you're this, bipolar. Come on, it wasn't there for us to judge people. These are some traits that we're seeing in people that will ruin conversation. So they sometimes are fidgeting and you feel like they're not listening anymore. So if you have that a tendency to fidget, don't. Because this triggers that person. They feel like you don't listen, you don't give me your time. And then cognitive distortions. There's so many here, right? There's a million, and you can look these up. And I've brought a few to talk about, but we don't have always that much time. One of them is overgeneralization. It is self-explanatory. Yes, feel free to take pictures so you can read it later. And overgeneralization is saying you always, you never, these are killers. Even if it's in therapy, even if it's when you're saying, can we talk? You always do this and you always make me, you always. This person's like, always? You've lost them. There is a way to say, first of all, you're always such a lovely human being. You always make me feel loved. You give me presents. You this. But that one day, I just felt so neglected. I feel like you forgot me. So they know you're pinpointing, because there are some people like, okay, tell me when. I want details. What do you mean always? And then you're going to be sitting there having to defend yourself. You can come here even. There's a room if you want to take pictures. So generalizations are killers. Don't do them. Fortune telling. Fortune telling is like, I know you're going to. I know how you're going to react. I know that now you're never going to talk to me. I know my parents are going to be angry. I know they're going to kill me. They're going to throw me out. They're going to and sometimes how many movies, books, stories, or real life events where they said, "Atli batati, each atluch problem ato. Tane thai chi wawi te karti, tane mari. I would not have. Tane na marti ho. You think I'm that bad?" So we're fortune tellers. We know everybody, and this is why we often don't bring up a topic, we don't tell somebody how we feel, and we don't connect. Mental filter, and filters we're very good at with our phones. Yeah, to make ourselves look and everything. But what does a filter do? Psychologically speaking, it makes us zero in on a blemish, a negativity. And the positive one is to see the world in rose-colored glasses. You see everything pink when you put on a certain type of sunglass. Everything looks brown in certain sunglasses. Black, can't see a thing. And then there are those clear lenses where you can see so much. So be careful with what lens you're looking at and creating a reality that doesn't exist. Thinking somebody is cheating on us or hating us. Can't tell you how many madrasa students I thought hated me forever. The same ones were calling me to speak at their weddings or saying, "You're the best teacher we ever had." Hello, you're the one who hated me. I didn't want to come to madrasa on Sundays. I felt like I was the worst human being on earth because it created that mental reality. Cognitive distortion. There is something even called body dysmorphia, where you look at yourself in the mirror and you see fat thighs. You see that you are ugly. And even though the mirror is right there and your pictures are shown to you, can't believe it. No, that's that. Look at all that. I'm this and that. Dysmorphia. So it can create problems. So should. This is when you say, I should be doing this. I have to do this. And, also telling somebody, you shouldn't feel anxious. Oh, don't feel like that. Come on, don't be angry. Because that also really is a conversation killer. When someone is coming to us and saying, I feel this way, we need to honor and validate that emotion, even if it's not true. Even if they're a fool for thinking this. But their mental dysmorphia has made it real to them. And so saying, stop that, don't think that way. We think we're being helpful, but it feels like we are discrediting their feelings. So blaming somebody, you did this, you made me laugh. And, amani hasaybo, amani akaraybo. No one can make us do anything. Shaitan can't make us do anything. All he does is whisper. But we take it to like a 10 level, 12 level. We do so. Even Shaitan's sitting there probably going, wow, you're amazing, buddy. All I said was this would be a good idea. You made a whole community do it. Like you made everybody do negative things. You're better than me, Shaitan's saying. All I did was whisper. So we blame people. Well, we're the ones. No one took our hand and made us do something. And then all or nothing, Things are either a success or a failure, black and white. One of our workshops will be about mental illness or even how we think. But when am I supposed to end? 7:15? Yeah. So we'll go quickly. Emotional reasoning, we assume that things are really the way we see them. The way we feel about them. It's not always the truth. Mind reading, we think this person doesn't like me. They think I'm stupid. This is so common. How many times we've been taught this? But we don't do it. But I've actually gone through therapy sessions where we actually had to follow it. And use a family coach. Because honestly, nowadays it's happened that we can't talk to each other. We don't know how to say something right. And so we are that family that actually uses a family coach. So even if it's before a trip, even if we're about to go do something huge in our lives or a massive change, we actually sit and talk about it. And everyone gets to speak about how they feel. Yeah, we've spent a lot of money, but a lot of these things are covered by insurance too. That person helps you facilitate. It's a safe place. Sometimes people after therapy fight because they're like, you said this in therapy, right? But it's supposed to be a safe place where only there is where you're supposed to say it. So when you walked away from the kitchen when I was washing dishes, I felt abandoned, hurt, forgotten, unimportant, because I had to wash those dishes alone. And I felt tired, and I also needed help. But see, now we're starting to go. No, you're supposed to stick to 3 emotions, 3 actions. And then the last one, I need, is another one. That once you conquer this style of talking, I need you to ask me next time before you go. I need you to let me know that you have something important to do. So when you stick to these 3 things, you'll stop giving somebody a monologue, a Shakespearean soliloquy about how hurt I was when you didn't help me wash dishes. To be or not to be, you're just going into aha and all that. No, it literally can be done in 3 sentences if we allowed ourselves. And if you can't summarize a problem in 3 sentences, it means you don't really know what you're mad at. This is why some people will say, okay, what do you want from me? I don't know. Well, why'd you bring this up? So you should know, all I wanted was for you to know I'm hurt. But that means you got to reflect a little bit. It means it has to be done a lot of right. What if we wanted to say it right away? I'm just amazed at some even Maulanas. You ask them the most simple question. Sharia has the answer right there. It's in the tip of, but they won't answer right away. They'll wait. They'll take a deep breath. You're like, is it that hard a question? But it's not that they know. They're assessing, who am I speaking to? Why is this person asking me maybe? Has this person already committed the sin? Is this a person who's maybe just OCD and is worried if they're, is batil or this, that? So when they answer, they're answering very gently and also trying to be very calm. Suppose you've asked the most terrible question. Molana is thinking this guy is going to hell, right? But they will not say it that way. They'll very calmly say, well, Allah is most forgiving. And if this happens, they'll start with that preamble because they are also calming themselves down before the answer. If all Molanas, inshallah, dealt that way. But this is why we need to take a step back before anything happens, before it blows. So you have to know what emotion you're feeling. You want to know what behavior particularly of that person has upset you. You have to know what the request is. And if you don't, then you're not ready for that conversation. Soft startups and harsh startups, you come right at somebody and blast them, it's over. Sometimes you're saying, I'm just going to call and say very calmly, but even that soft startup ends up in a blast. So got to be very much aware that you are starting in a gentle way. You're also thanking somebody, appreciating them first. So you don't attack and don't blame that person. And you need to be able to say, I am flooded. This is not, I'm going to walk out, bang the door, I'm going to, just leave. This is about saying, you know what? I'm finding that I'm getting very flooded. I'm going to blow. I'm going to say something bad. I'm going to cry. I'm going to be angry. I think I'm just hungry. Can you give me 2 minutes? I need to calm down. I don't want to fight. And this requires that the people that we're talking to also give that person a timeout. No, you're going to talk to me now. No, we're going to discuss this now. But I'm not ready. I want to calm down. Give that person that break. Sometimes they need more than 2 minutes. Sleep on it. All that stuff is a necessary thing. So you have to recognize when you need that time. You have to see, are my fists clenched? Is my face red? Is my heart pounding? Am I breathing fast? Are tears coming down my face? Do I feel like screaming? Am I afraid of my partner, the person I'm talking to? The signs are all coming. Flooded. And that no conversation can happen. And you have to know how to request that. You have to ask for those certain amount of minutes. Never tell somebody you need a timeout, because that backfires. And then what to do when you're trying to calm down, right? But also remembering to come back. And these questions, is it worth it? Don't fight every battle. But not because, it'll never help, so I'm not going to fight this battle. That's when problems go far and far and far in a relationship. But also, there's bigger problems and then there's small ones. And if we make big fights about not being helped in the kitchen, then the bigger problems will never be able to get to them. Because if you're fighting like this about a tiny thing, you have to pick your battles. And remind each other that we're a team. And it's all about I feel this way. I don't want us to break. People use this sometimes to say, yeah, you yourself said that you're a very angry person. You yourself said you're... No. When someone is using an I statement, thank them that they have been humble enough to not make it about you when you know you're the one who did something. So knowing to come back because you've promised them, and remember these boundaries. There are certain things you got to give people space, even when sometimes we think, let's just make up physically. When there is a lot of unsaid stuff. Person can feel violated. They're not ready for a hug. They're not ready to touch. But don't be that person who says, I will not hug you now, ever, because I have pent-up hatred. Because you're the one who's going to lose out. We'll have to open our hearts. Imam Hussein allowed her to even come talk to him. And he forgave. That takes a big heart. And it takes that ability to let somebody say sorry to us even. radical acceptance, coping statements. I mean, this stuff can go on and on, but about knowing what we can control and also learning how to release body tension. Every part of our body needs to learn how to relax. And we need to go to the gym to get out our frustration. We need to do physical exercises because emotional stuff does come into body and makes it a knot. Not only because our body hurts now, but we also get ulcers. It's called psychosomatic illness. That those people who took things hard are now, they've got cancer. They were burning inside. So find, like good ways to get rid of this stress. And these things, I think we'll hit this when we talk about the 12 things, when we talk about mental illness and stuff, that we don't have to. But remember, your emotions are triggered by your thoughts, which will affect your behavior, which will affect your emotion, which will affect, these three will go back and forth. So it is very important when we are trying to be a happy, happy family that we're going to make mistakes. And it's okay. We can have hard days. We can make mistakes. And today, we need to let go. Let go of this pain that has come up to here. This is the month that our iman is revived. Our emotions, our community comes together. We as a family are doing something together. Let's make a conscious decision to forgive, to speak beautifully, to ask for forgiveness, to forgive, to bring up things that are huge, not these little tiny, tiny things that we're holding for 20 years, or maybe even 2 days, that are really creating a huge wall between the ones that are the most important to us. We're so blessed to have family, but also those who are sharing an experience. A family that has lived through unemployment, that has lived through mental illness in the family, through the death of a loved one, through a community issue, through social things that are happening. We are the only ones who have lived in the same house. Who else can understand us more than these people? And do not think that these people don't care, that they are out of it. Sometimes dua, first of all, but also an effort to just hug and say, I want to start again. I love you, and I want us to be the way we used to be. But I'm no longer that person. You're no longer. No, but the love still is. And we can get back to that. So inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to have strong families. Ya Allah, today, in these days when we're remembering the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, Ya Allah, teach us to communicate sweetly, beautifully. Allow us to come together. Take away this shaitan from our home that makes us feel it's over. We'll never get back together. It's over. No, Ya Allah, give us hope. Give us peace. Give us the ability to speak sweetly and softly. And Ya Allah, help us to be on the Sirat al-Mustaqim together. Help us, our family, be strong so that we can be the soldiers of Imam Zaman. Ajalallahu ta'ala farajahum